it's Catherine Maley, author of Your Aesthetic Practice. Now, each generation has different characteristics, values, attitudes, and priorities. They also have their own attitudes about marketing and how they use media channels to get and receive information. Now, people resemble their own time, and that has to be taken into consideration when reaching out to prospective cosmetic patients. Of course, technology is the major influencer of how people communicate based on their generation and how marketers reach their audiences. So, what is the best technology to use when communicating to each group? Well, I'm going to give you a breakdown of the basic characteristics of each generation and how best to communicate your message to them in a way they will not only hear but respond to. So let's start with baby boomers, and they're between 46 and 64 years old. Now, the baby boomers have the most money to spend and are willing to put more time, money, and effort into looking and feeling their best. They tend to see themselves 10 to 15 years younger than they are, and they're willing to go to some length to stave off looking and feeling old. I'm on that one. So they're more likely to stay loyal than their children, but they do expect personalized service and convenience. And trust is huge with this group. So they tend to rely on their friends' recommendations first and then research before deciding. Now, they're looking for value for their hard-earned money. So here's how to market to baby boomers. Since they value trust highly, add lots of content to your website about your education, your skills, and your experience. And then tons of content about each procedure you perform so they can see you're a qualified expert to give them the great result they're expecting. And the more face time you can have with this generation, the more likely they are to choose you over your competitors. So invite them to your open house, ask for their opinion on surveys, and send them personalized communications filled with information about you, your procedures, lots of social proof such as before and after photos and reviews, and very special promotions of interest just for them. Then there's the savvy but cynical generation, and they're between 30 and 46 years old. Now, Gen Xers are considered the savvy generation because they led the dot-com boom. This generation is the busiest one out of all 4 generations because a typical Gen Xer is usually raising a family and or focusing on growing his or her career. Now, a Gen Xer is naturally skeptical because they grew up in a time of political and social change and widespread cynicism and distrust of institutions. That means you have to work hard at earning their trust. So how do you market to them? Gen Xers use several direct channels to research what they want, but their approach is not to instantly buy. It's more about gathering information that helps them make a decision and to find out what's going on in the marketplace. Then they want to contrast and compare as many sources as possible to arrive at the right thing for them. The point is, they don't take direct marketing and advertising at face value. They need lots of social proof, such as before and after photos and reviews from other patients. Now, marketing resistance is at an all-time high with this group. Gen Xers are among the most aggressive at rejecting intrusive advertising, and they have the knowledge, sophistication, technology, and willingness to disconnect themselves from marketers when they feel attacked by unwanted solicitation. To get this group's attention, you have to work harder to earn their trust. You do that through great service, time savings, convenience, and compelling educational content they want to get to know you better. Now, Generation Y, they're the millennials, and they're considered the connected generation, and they're under 30. So Generation Y is a generation of everything because they're so tech savvy. In fact, they're referred to as the connectivity kids. They're materialistic and exist to consume. Now, a major drawback to this group is they lack any kind of brand loyalty. They often see aesthetic rejuvenation as a commodity because they can't see the difference between service providers. So oftentimes, they just base their decisions strictly on price. So Gen Y have a need for memorable experiences and community, so build what loyalty you can through interactive mobile promotions. So experiences are a selling point for millennials, so emphasize how your services can be shared with their friends. Messages should create a sense of happiness, optimism, and fun. So how do you market to them? They are all about socializing and being online via cell phone. To market to millennials effectively, you need to promote your practice on social media popular platforms such as Instagram, Snapchat, and now TikTok. And they have a limited attention span. Frankly, you're better off going with short messages about a deal you have than spending a ton of time informing them about your credentials and the clinical aspects of the procedure. They also respond well to text promotions, mobile gaming apps, refer your friends incentives, and pay later options. So, what do you do with this information about these different generations? First, pull a report called Revenues by Age Group. It will tell you who's spending the most money on your services. Now, knowing that, you map out a marketing plan to identify the percentage of your budget, time, and effort that goes towards each of the generational groups. This is a more strategic way to market that will most quickly grow your cosmetic revenues. For more free practice growth videos and content, visit me at www.catherinemaley.com.